Steve Prescott, hands up! For Steve Prescott, hands up! For Steve Prescott, hands up!
Right, so we'll move on to Wigan now. What do you make of it all? Obviously, the Sean Edwards saga, and he's verbally agreed to become the head coach from 2020 with a handshake. Since then, he's won the Six Nations as well as defence coach. He's now sought after in the 15-man game. He's keeping his options open. Do you think Wigan Chairman Ian Lenigan should be so laid back about this?
I think first and foremost, if you speak to fans, we don't want Edwards anymore. I think there's a clear statement that has been made. Whether it was signed or not, Edwards shook hands, should we say, but also went onto Sky with Lam, went out to press conferences with Lam. It was all set in stone. He was speaking as if he was the Wigan coach. It was talked about recruitment, what recruitments he would make in 2020. It was a done deal. So whatever's happened, there could have been a talk that's happened where they've decided that they want to go a different direction, and that's why this whole thing's come out the way it has. But nothing's happening here other than Edwards has tendered his own reputation with the fans. And I think if you ask any Wigan fan now, Edwards is not wanted, because we don't like to be messed around, especially by people that are supposed to be one of our own. Who will be Wigan coach? I don't know.
Who do you want?
Who would I want?
There's talk of Trent Barrett, but I mean, it's obviously gone around the media yesterday. He's been linked with the role, and I've seen a few Manly fans come out and say he's the worst coach they've ever had.
Well, yeah, this is that's a problem. Who would I think personally, as an emotional sort of thing, Adrian Lam was my hero growing up. It was my younger days watching Lam in a Wigan shirt, so I would love Lam to stay. I think you can tell the difference now that you've got Joe Burgess back in the team, that the quality coming out that left edge is similar to what we saw in 2014-15 before we went to the NRL. Lam has gone and playing good rugby again. Obviously it was disappointing the way we lost to Castleford. I think you can attribute a lot of things to that, but I think in the long term it won't affect us that much. I think we're back in the game now, and if we keep improving and the structures that Lam keeps putting together keeps coming in, then I don't see why you shouldn't be begging him to stay, really.
Well, it's a bizarre scenario to start with, to appoint a coach for one season and that coach knows there's another coach coming in the next season. Where's the motivation for Adrian Lam? Surely they should just sit him down, 3-year deal, let him get on with it. It just puts everything to bed.
Well, exactly. I always thought it was strange originally when they made the announcement. You know, you've got a coach coming for one season, then someone else replacing him after a year. It's like a 1-year loan deal almost.
Yeah.
You know, it's so strange. And if I was in your shoes, Sean, if I was a Wigan fan looking at that appointment, I'd surely think, you know, what are the board considering 2019 as just sort of a nothing season, a throwaway season? Because as a coach, you need longevity. Coaches need longevity to be successful, to recruit well, to build their team that they want with the right players and the right structures to then go on and be successful. Whereas if you're giving Lam a year and that's it, he's not going to be able to do that. You know, they're going to have, you know, a certain structure 1 year, then that's all going to go out the window at the end when Edwards comes in. And especially given the fact as well, because I think Lam and Edwards they seem so different in terms of coaching style. Lam, I think, is very attacking. I think he'll keep that Wigan sort of flair and structure of quick rugby that has been played for years under Wayne, among others. Whereas I think Edwards would come in and be very defensive. He's obviously a defensive coach in rugby union at the minute.
Yeah.
And I think he'd come in and implement similar structures. So if I was a neutral wanting to see Wigan play the best rugby, I'd want to keep Lam in. I remember watching him on the NRL Rookie a few years ago, where he was one of the coaches on that, and just being in absolute awe of his knowledge on the game, especially the attacking functions and stuff like that. So if I was a neutral wanting to see Wigan play their best sort of brand of rugby, I'd be wanting Adrian Lam to keep in that role without doubt.
I think there's one thing you've got to say is, at the minute there's 3 names on the table. There's Barrett, Edwards and Lam. All of them are number 6-7s, they're all halves, which gives Wigan the best opportunity to progress in an attacking sense. Wayne obviously kept the shapes and structures that Maguire held before him. Whether those structures slowed down slightly towards the end of his tenure is questionable. I think Wayne was never interested in scoring the most points. He was conceding the least, and that was very important to him. That'll be different under halfbacks. I do believe that, and it'll be important for our young lads, for the likes of Harry Smith, who obviously has got a massive future in the next couple of years. Letting those guys come through and coming into this new shape. I'm not sure whether Barrett will be able to do the job that Wigan want him to do. Obviously, not, as you mentioned, not really liked by Manly fans in many ways, in many respects. But you've got to look at Lam as well and say, I'm a big fan of Lam and the way that he sets up his team, but he's had the worst start to a coaching career for Wigan since Ian Millward, which is back in 2006, and that included the game we lost 75-0 to St Helens in the Challenge Cup.
So do you actually think Lenigan wants Lam because he's obviously not willing to offer him the job now? He's holding out for Edwards, but how long does he wait?
I don't know whether he wants Lam. Like you say, I do think he wants Edwards, but at this point, there's been so many unneeded statements about little changes in the story that nobody cares about, and at this point, fans really don't want to hear. The statements don't read well. They read really confusingly for most people. I think from Lenigan and Radlinski's point of view, they're not giving any clarity to Wigan fans, and that's something that is really important. And if he really wants Edwards, he needs to come out and say, I want Edwards, because Wigan fans don't anymore. And there's no communication between Lenigan and the fans at the minute. And if he does bring in Edwards, I think there'll be a bit of confusion, at least for the first few months, as to why this is happening, especially when you've got a coach that looks like he's doing a really good job in developing this team. I don't think that we'll get Edwards. I think Lenigan wants Edwards. We'll probably end up with Lam.
Well, I don't know who's going to get it at this rate, but Trent Barrett's in the running. Adrian Lam, I think, wants the job, but he's been left up in the air. Edwards is just leaving everyone in limbo. Who should be the next Wigan coach? Let us know.
Watch every game of the NRL, plus the grand final and state of origin, from anywhere outside Australia, New Zealand or the Pacific Islands. Go to watchnrl.com and take the footy with you.